name is Casey Rosengren, and I'm here to present to you about Movee Monkee. This is our startup weekend presentation, and my team consists of Tyler, Tim, Nikki, Young, and Rahul. The problem that we're dealing with this weekend is movie theaters. Basically, every empty seat in the movie theater represents revenue they could have made and didn't. Other industries with a similar problem are airlines, buses, and stadiums. And they've all gone towards a form of yield management, which means charging a high price when demand is high, and a low price when demand is low. However, movie theaters still charge a relatively uniform price compared to the other industries. They charge maybe a few different prices for matinees or senior citizens, but it's mostly the same. Our solution is a web promotional portal to give away discounted tickets. We're going to allow targeting by theaters, demographics, and locations. So we'll take the first 2 or 3 weeks after the movie is released, gauge demand, and then for underperforming tickets, give away discounted tickets. The value to the consumer is pretty obvious. They get discounted tickets. The value to the theater is that you get to play with the demand curve. And so someone might not be willing to pay $5 for a mediocre movie, full price, but they might be willing to pay $5. And this will help movie theaters also sell more concessions, which, as you'll see in a second, is the most profitable part of their business. So here's a quick crash course in movie theater economics. There are 3 parts of the movie theater industry. That's studios, distributors, and theaters. Now, studios and distributors are often under the same umbrella company, but theaters have to be run independently due to some antitrust legislation from the 1940s. Admission ticket sales are split between distributors and theaters. In the first week after release, up to 90% of revenue can go straight to the distributor, which means the theaters get most of their money from concessions. As the weeks go by, in the 3rd or 4th week, up to 50% or more goes to the theater. So 20% of movie theater industry revenue comes from concessions, but 40% of the profit comes from it. And this is due to the high profit margin, up to 80%, 85%. So what have we done for customer validation this weekend? The first thing we do is a pricing survey to gauge willingness to pay for consumers. We found that there's a positive linear relationship between the perceived quality of a movie and the amount that consumers were willing to pay. This means that for a mediocre movie, people should be able to make more money by giving discounted tickets. We also talked to some film festivals, the New York Film Festival, which is currently going on, to see if they'd be interested in that type of service. They were excited about a promo, and actually our live promo with New York Film Festival went live at 2 p.m. today. So if you guys are interested, it's going on until Thursday. You get a $2 discount by buying a ticket through us. And we have 5 tickets left. We also talked to Cinema Center 3, which is a local movie theater on campus. They have a weekly tradition on Saturdays of showing Rocky Horror Picture Show at midnight. They were also open to a promotion, so we're currently talking with them to get approval from Fox, which is their distributor, to run a promo. And we hope to do that in the next few weeks. What's the potential market? The airlines make 3 to 6% of their annual revenue through yield management. This might not be an exact translation to the theater industry. Maybe we can make up to 3 to 6% revenue in the theater industry. It's a $10 billion industry. We think it's up to $300 to $600 million a year. Some potential barriers to entry for our competitors are relationships with theaters and with distributors, and also data that we're going to get. Right now, we're kind of doing discounts by demographics, but eventually we want to take Facebook data and past ticketing data and use that to predict who's likely to pay full price for a certain genre type of movie, who is willing to only go if there's a discount. Who's the competition? Currently, Gold Star does yield management for live events like stadiums, concerts, but they don't have there's no indication now that they're going into the movie theater business, so we're not too worried. Fandango is an online ticketing platform. They already have some of the relationships with distributors, so we're basically hoping that our advantage is going to be our data, how we can predict who's more willing to pay full price, who's willing to pay half price, things like that. So we think moving first, we want to basically get this data before they notice us and be more useful as an acquisition target than a competitor. So our next steps are to complete our current promos with the Rocky Horror Picture Show and the New York Film Festival, reach out to independent theaters in Philadelphia and eventually New York City. A lot of the studies that we found cited work by a professor at Leishberg, who turns out is a professor at Wharton, and we actually have a meeting with him at 4:45 tomorrow to talk about our idea. And then we are going to apply to further programs like University of Delaware's Venture Development Center and Wharton's Venture Initiation Program. Our business model also is going to be taking a percentage of every ticket, so getting a fraction of the value added in the industry. And real quick, you guys want to show you some of our demo. MovieMonkee.com. You're connected to Facebook. Log in. So log in. And it brings you to your profile page. So So this is have like trailers. Thank you.
In your follow-up, you talked about meeting with independent theaters. When you think about the implication or the implementation of this, would you focus primarily on independents, or would you try to get the big chains as well?
So we definitely want to go to the big chains, but first we want to go to independents because A, they show movies that might not necessarily have strict licensing agreements, so they might have more variation to play with it. And so we want data from that we can go show to the big theater chains to say, okay, bring this to your negotiations next time, it'll increase industry revenue. So we basically want more proof before we go to them. And in industry theater, you have to deal with one theater running promotion, and we can do that ourselves as a sales force. If we were doing for a major theater chain which had like thousands of screens, we'd have to be larger by then.
So are you indicating that the larger chains might not have as much pricing flexibility?
So that's the thing. At the moment, there's been a fixed way of doing revenue for a while. So basically, at the moment, we're just like startup. This has been a business since Friday, so we don't have as much data. Like, we feel that they don't have as much against the distributors at the moment. But if we come and say, this is the amount of money we're being willing to save, distributors will be okay with it. Because basically, right now, there's a misalignment of interests, where the distributor has all the costs sunk going into the box office release. They want to stay in theaters as long as possible because they just get money from the ticket revenue. Movie theaters, on the other hand, get most of their money from concessions, or at least they get a significant amount of their profits from concessions. And so they want a movie that doesn't have as much attendance to get out of theaters as soon as possible, bring in a new release. So this will help by bringing more people into the theater for like the longer releases in the third, fourth, or fifth week, which will help increase the distributor profit because we're going to take the discounts out of the theater end, so it'll make it up on concessions. So,
first, I liked your use of Prezi. That was great. And also, just what else did you want to tell us about the site that you didn't get a chance to?
Yeah, well, we actually, you can see we have a, this is the New York Film Festival page that we can show pretty curious. I just really see this as a way for movie theaters to like kind of price discriminate down the far end, because now the movie theater industry, the theatrical release window is getting shorter before things got to DVDs. People are less willing to pay because they can just stream movies on DVDs. They can go to Redbox, rent a movie for $1. And so the movie theater, to stay relevant, has to start doing things to stay relevant. And we believe that this is a way to, because people still will want to pay $10 to go opening weekend or to go on prime times. So movie theater can still make money by offering a $5 discount on a Wednesday, still take full theater revenue on a Friday or Saturday when demand is high. So, yeah.
So who are the key people you have to influence to get your product into the marketplace?
The key people we have to influence to get the product out immediately in independent theaters is just the individual chains. To get it large scale and to scale, we'll have to do negotiations with distributors, which are the main 6 right now. So movie distributors are actually not technically allowed to influence price. There is an antitrust legislation and it's illegal, but there's only 6 of them. So basically, if they say, if you hardball us, we're not going to deal with you for the next year, that's, it's like an implicit contract between distributors and theaters. So we want to go with enough data to show that everyone's going to make money. It's a win-win for distributors, theaters, and consumers, and then talk to them and see what they say.
So what, with the chicken and the egg, what has to happen first? You have to get access to the theaters first, the independent theaters?
Right, so what we're trying to do first is access film festivals and independent theaters and show that this is actually a viable product through them, and then talk to the bigger theaters and talk to the distributors. So for Rocky Horror Picture Show, we're going to be talking with Fox about licensing that, and basically what we've been told is they're going to be pretty much flexible with that because it's Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's been out for 30 years. We don't know if they're going to be as flexible about like Harry Potter. A lot of those big event movies, they wouldn't be, but for the mediocre movies, like change up. Firstly, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The only reason I saw it this summer was because I got a free ticket. I think movies like that, they'll be more willing to bring in seats, especially if they're not getting cut on the revenue. It's all on the theater side.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.